Hey everybody, this is Balverine. It's been nearly a year since we posted the tree challenge, and this is just a quick update on what the new challenges are. And this is mostly for controllers, but this is also for mouse and key players who don't really want to use aim trainers, or at least typical aim trainers because there's not enough feedback, or you would rather just use something that is as close to Apex Legends as possible. Luckily, R5 Reloaded has our own aim trainer called Flow State Aim Trainer created by Cafe FPS. So if you open up R5, go to Create right here on the top, go to Select Visibility first, Offline, select Playlist, Aim Trainer. You don't have to do anything else, just these two. Again, select Offline, and then select Playlist, Aim Trainer, start the game. Okay, the first setting that we are going to do is go to Settings. You don't really have to mess with this dummy health, it doesn't matter. You want to go to Slow Strafing Speed, Dummy Spawn Distance of 4, Invincible, all of this on, all these three. So just look at these settings for a second, pause the video if you need to, and then we're going to go to page 2. I like to, mess around with the dummy color, but these are the settings for page 2, and then infinite training, disabled, and then challenge duration. You want to set this to 120. Okay, so those are the first settings, and then you go to change weapon, SMG, and on the mouse and key, you right click. And if you're on controller, you still have to do this on mouse and key or on your laptop or touchpad or whatever. And you want this all the way maxed up. And you go back. Okay, so everything that we're going to do for these benchmarks is going to be in Strafing Dummy. Now, before we get into Strafing Dummy, I want you to take a look at these. I will put this in the comments or in the description of what your accuracy should be. Now, the first number is your current accuracy. The second number is kind of like a mid to good level benchmark of what you want your accuracy to be. And then this is a very high level aspirational accuracy. People have hit these accuracies before, but maybe like two or three in the world, right? So yeah, you and some of these like don't exist. Some of these accuracies just don't exist, especially on point 3. So the current accuracy or whatever that is, that's the one that you want to measure today. And then in the future, you want to compare your future accuracy to your previous accuracy, like a month ago, 2 months ago, or whatever. That's how you measure your progress. For the controller players, this is an accuracy benchmark that can help you out since we don't have benchmarks for controller players just yet. And, it actually has aim assist on the bots. So this will give you the most transference. I've shown these exercises to multiple people, even pros, and after a month, they've grown significantly. Imagine what you're going to be like in a few months from now. For my M&K brothers and sisters, I would recommend that you just figure out wherever accuracy you are at your own pace and then just measure it a month from now, you know. Multiply it by 1.1, which is 10% increase, or 1.2, which is a 20% increase, and then make that your aspirational goal. Whatever that is, try to increase your accuracy at that range by 10 or 20%, which is a huge amount. Okay, so for the first challenge, we are going to do the tree challenge. We're going to turn around when we spawn in, go to this bush next to this tree, turn around, and you are not going to strafe. That means no left stick on the controller and no movement with your keyboard, okay? Just as a reminder, these accuracies are for controller players, right? So if you are an MNK player and you're not hitting these accuracy numbers, that's perfectly okay. Just figure out what pace you are at and then try to measure that in a month from now or 2 months from now or whatever. So we're going to do the tree challenge. We spawn in, go to this bush, and then we're only going to be shooting the entire time. Now here's the trick. A couple of notes with this. If you are on M and K, I would highly suggest to change your secondary attack button to space, because if you're pushing down with your forefinger for 2 minutes straight, your hand will hurt. And it's the same thing with controller. This is actually a great tension management exercise. If you are constantly hard gripping the controller, learn to relax it. Also, focus on relaxing your whole body. A lot of people have told me that sometimes they tense their hip or they tense their foot while they're aiming on a controller or on mouse and key, and they don't know why. This is a great way to learn what you're actually doing with your body and how to relax it for your own long-term health. Okay, the next challenge that we're going to do is mid no strafes. Okay, mid no strafes. So the first two don't involve strafing at all. So mid, you just spawn in at a distance of 4 and you're just going to shoot. That's it. Now, if you notice this dummy, right, it has a little red collarbone and then a white area around that collarbone. So if you can see that, try to focus on that. And you can actually, you don't have to hard focus on your accuracy. You kind of just turn off your brain a little bit if you're trying to do this for an hour or two a day, even a half hour a day. You know, whatever your accuracy is, I'm at like 49% right now, whatever. Take your accuracy, write it down, and then you can measure it in the future. Next, we have close strafes. Now, close strafes, pretty straightforward. We're going to finish the challenge. You start, and we're going to walk up. Now, one note with this is you're going to walk up. Sometimes the dummy will run away. If the dummy runs away and it creates a little bit of distance with you like this, just walk up forward. And then strafes. If you are on controller, you actually want to maximize long strafes because that maximizes your recoil smoothness and your ability to stay in the aim assist bubble. People who are really good at this are people like Amphi. Amphi is probably the best in the world when it comes to counter strafing and just maximizing his counter strafes. So look how close we are. And if you're on M and K, you can practice whatever kind of mirror, counter strafe, long strafe, bias strafe, whatever, to maintain a high level of accuracy. Again, this is only ADS, and you don't want to hip fire. Only ADS. A lot of people will struggle with this at first, but it's worth learning. Next, we are going to do only hip fire. This one involves no strafing. We're just going to stand, we're going to walk up, and we're just going to stand. Only hip fire. Again, if the bot runs away, right, and this creates a little bit of distance between you, it's okay to walk up and then continue your hip fire accuracy again. Now, the second one that you want to do, the last one, sorry, that you want to do is hip fire with strafes. You're just going to walk up and just maximize your hip fire with strafes. Now, again, these are only tracking exercises. Just to remind you, these are only tracking exercises. What you can do is if you want to improve at other weapons, like a burst weapon, or you want to improve at shotguns, or your wingman. Let's say you want to improve at your wingman. You can do that and measure your current accuracy. You know, whatever your accuracy is today, and then measure it to your accuracy in the future. Of course, with single shot weapons and burst shot weapons, if you're only focused on accuracy, that can ruin your chances of getting higher damage output. But if you're only working on your accuracy and then you can become more accurate, you can actually increase your speed with more confidence and you can actually hit more shots. So if you're only working on your technique with single shot or burst weapons, that's perfectly fine. Just measure your accuracy in the future. Now, can you do this with other scenarios? Yes, but these are the main 5 that you want to do. These are the main 5 that you want to focus on. A couple final notes. So you are going to measure your benchmark accuracy with slow. If you go to the settings on page 1, slow is how you measure. But when you train, I would highly recommend to train on fast. Why? Because a lot of people have shown me that if you train on a harder bot and you go back to the easier bot, that easier bot is much, much easier because you trained on a harder bot. Pretty much common sense. So I would suggest if you're going to train every day, it doesn't matter how much a day, maybe a half hour, 2 hours, whatever, that you train 6 days of the week on fast and then 1 day a week on slow. Okay, so 6 days on fast, 1 day on slow. And then once you get to a higher level, you can do 6 days on demon and then 1 day on fast. But I would recommend to stay away from demon. It doesn't matter how freaking good you are, it's just like a little too fast right now. Okay, the final note is tension management. This applies for both mouse and key and controller players. Your tension management really, really matters, and these exercises will expose your tension management. If you are a controller player and you are death gripping your controller, you will feel a lot of pain. Doing this for 2 minutes, your hand will get exhausted. Sometimes it's not your thumb that gets exhausted. Maybe it's the back button hands, like your ring finger and your pinky finger, that gets exhausted. A lot of people have told me that their neck gets exhausted because they tense up, or their hip gets exhausted, or their feet get exhausted. Same thing with mouse and key players. In fact, I spent an entire month when I first moved to mouse and key only focusing on reducing my tension management for my own long-term health. And guess what? My scores ended up going up. First, they went down, but then they went back up. So please focus on your tension management. And this is a note for everybody. Whatever you do, focus on being consistent. Build this as a habit. Do it every single day rather than one day where you grind it out for 3 hours and you destroy your hand. So it's much better for you to do this a half hour every single day than one day where you do it for 5 hours straight. Finally, if you have any questions, reach out to me, but I would love for you guys to post your scores in the comments. Now, here's the cool thing. If you hit a world record and you obviously don't cheeseball it or whatever, if you hit that world record, send it, post it, tag me on Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever, put it in the comments, and then that can be the community's new aspirational goal. Don't use this to clown on people. Please don't do that. Use this as a way to lift each other up and say, hey, I got this goal. You should try to hit that too. If somebody can do it, somebody else can do it as well. So let's all try to lift each other up. Let's all try to help each other out here. And if you find an exercise that you think has a lot of value, reach out to me. Create your own video. All right, guys, if you have any questions or DMs or whatever, just reach out to me and I'll talk to you later.